Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the Capital Men channel. I am your host Femi Are, and without wasting your time, today we're going to go over how to edit portraits. Now if that sounds interesting, let's hop into this video. Now before I start editing, I just want to let you guys know, like I usually do, all these explanations, all these principles I'm going to teach you today, they all apply to Lightroom Mobile too. So if you have Lightroom Mobile on your phone and you don't have it on your system, you can still apply these principles when you're working on pictures on your phone. I do it too. So let's hop into this video. So this is the picture that we're working on today, and what I do when I'm working on portrait is I start by applying my presets. So let me go to my presets. I'm going to apply my seasons preset, and when you apply presets, normally most of the time the presets might not exactly match the picture. Maybe the presets might be too harsh, so what you have to do is now correct the image to, a normal looking image, just to make it look good with the preset. Sometimes presets fit automatically, they just fit and look perfect with a picture, but most times you have to adjust some things. So in this image, I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to take the highlights down. I'm going to reduce the whites, and I'm going to leave the blacks there. Raise the exposure a little bit more. Take those highlights down. Okay, that's good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to work on her eyes. So I'm just going to zoom into her eyes like this, and I'm going to click on the brush tool. Now I'm just going to paint over her eyes like this, paint over both of her eyes, and I'm just going to increase the exposure of her eyes a little bit, just to make them pop a little. I think this is fine. Okay, then I'm going to make a new brush, and I am going to make the brush smaller, and I'm going to paint in her eye, just round here like this, and I'm going to increase the exposure and the sharpness and the saturation. So let's do that. We're not going for this vampire werewolf look, we're just going to increase it just a little. It's a very subtle thing that makes a major difference in your images. So we're just going to increase the saturation of her eyes. Then we're going to bring down the temperature a little bit. She have blue eyes? I think I don't know, it's hard to tell. I'm going to bring down the temperature of her eyes anyway. Oof, that's too much. I think I should go the other way. I think her eyes, it's hard for me to actually tell the color of her eyes. I'm going to take the temperature down so you do this depending on the color of the person's eyes. So with her, I think her eyes look brownish and like bluish at the same time, which is weird, but yeah, that's fine, but it's still beautiful. Then I think I'm going to increase the exposure a little bit more. Then I am going to increase the sharpness. Then I'm going to create another brush, and I'm going to make this one smaller. Now I'm going to paint around her iris, around it like this edge. I'm going to paint around it, just one stroke. I'm going to paint around like that. Then I'm going to increase the clarity of it to make it stand out more. Just increase the clarity, maybe increase the contrast a little. Then I'm done. So now when you see the before and after images, let's see the before and after. Wow, you see that her eyes light up in this picture. It's so amazing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the structure of her face. So the main part of her face, her eyebrows, her nose, her lips, her eyes. We already worked on her eyes, then the skin. So I'm going to hit the healing brush and I'm just going to tap over each of her pimples or blemishes to heal them. I'm going to do that. If your client or if the individual, the subject, has any scars or birthmarks that are part of them, I advise you not to remove them, because that is what makes them unique. That's what makes them who they are. I don't advise you to actually correct that. But if they have any pimple or any other thing like that, I think you should definitely remove that. Her face is flawless. I'm not going to do much with this. I think her skin is actually fine the way it is, so that's fine. Now I'm going to carry the brush tool and I'm going to paint over her nose, her eyebrows, to give them a little bit more definition and structure, to make them stand out more. For the eyebrows, I'm just going to increase the contrast a little bit. I'm going to make a new brush again. Then I'm going to paint over her nose to make it more defined and make it stand out more. So I'm going to increase the clarity a little bit and see what that gives me. Okay, if I take it back, okay. Okay, that's fine. Then her ears aren't really in this image. I'm just going to leave her ears alone. Her lips, I think I'll just increase the brightness of her lips a little. Let's make a new brush. Going to paint over her lips. Wait, let me zoom in. So I'm going to paint over her lips like this. Then I'm just going to increase the exposure a little bit and maybe the saturation. So we are done with this image. Now let's see the before and after. Wow, that's a huge difference. Honestly, I'm going to obviously myself. I think I actually went too bright on her eyes, so I'm just going to go back to her eyes and reduce the exposure a little bit. I'm going to reduce the exposure. It looks a little too bright. I think that's fine. Yeah, okay, this is better. So the last thing that we're going to look at is the skin tone. So basically you just want to make sure that the skin looks normal. You don't want skin to look abnormal, but here the skin looks fine. So we've come to the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Daniel_rep, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.